morning. Sorry, I can see Jodie's already said, running a bit late this morning, Sarah. Yes, I am. I'm afraid my stepdaughter actually started a new school this morning, so I've had to do a quick school run back home, ready to set up. I've got Earl asleep in his bed, quiet house. I'm hoping we can now sit together for about the next 45 minutes or so and make a gorgeous ring. So today we are making the Regal Rings. You should have just seen an image of it. They're a beautiful ring, quite large. It's a cocktail ring, really. It's going to bring that little sparkle to an everyday outfit. It's a beautiful one to actually make. We've got some really lovely materials in there, and I'm going to take you through the entire kit and then, of course, the lovely pattern that Kitty has designed. So there are some kits available today. They are mass make kits, so you're going to make at least 8 rings. And I say at least, you've got the buttons in there. You will have extra beads left over. And I'm going to show you the different ways that you can do it as well. So there are a lovely peyote stitch band, so very similar to the rings that we were making the other day. So you can see now, hopefully you're picking up this arsenal of techniques that you can then start crossing over in various different patterns. Even though a project might give you, for example, in this one, a pearl beaded band, you can start drawing back on some of that knowledge and some of the other bits and pieces. I've just noticed you can see my ugly messy boxes. I'm very sorry, haven't tidied up yet. You can start drawing in on all the other different techniques that we've been teaching you. You've probably picked some up for years, but we've been going live every day since March. And it just shows you that you can get these lovely techniques and then start implementing them in the designs and making them personal to you and for your preference. So I'm going to show you the kits first of all so that we can have a little look. I'm not sure on stock levels, so we will have a little look and see what we've got. I'm sure some colours always go faster than others. Just as usual, if you're watching for the first time, this is our lovely totallybeads.co.uk website, categories up to the top, Facebook tutorials, and everything we have done since March is in here. You can do it day by day. As you go into the previous months, they're then allocated and grouped together by months. We did do this one back in July. I haven't done it, Kitty did, so I thought I will turn my hand to it because I've been looking forward to making these. There are different adaptations of it as well, so although they are called the rings, you can make necklaces and bracelets out of them as well. If you would just like to get your hands on the pattern, we've got that as a PDF download. It's available for £1.99. And then, as you can see, these actually show you the various different bands that you can do. So the auburn here will show you a peyote, the bronze is showing you the pearl. You can make any of those in any of the kits. Lots of adaptations. It will always give you the link through to the product video as well. £10.25 and it will make 8. So it is a fantastic price for what's a mass make, and I think these would be gorgeous presents for people. So we've got auburn, bronze, silver, sky blue, which is the one that I'm going to be using today, and silver cloud. So they are all on the website. You can go and have a little look and get your hands hopefully on the colours that you want. Okay, so I'm going to turn you down. Now, why isn't, oh please don't do this to me today. Oh, I tell you why, because I haven't plugged it into the computer. Hopefully now it's going to give me the option. Okay, thank goodness. Right. Oh, sorry guys. Slip of the finger. Okay, right. So you can see here we've got the lovely rings. So you can do them on stretch elastic. So you can have a one size fits all band. Is this one stretchy? No. Pearls, which is what I'm going to show you today. And then you've also got the peyote stitch band as well. So I've shown you a bit of peyote recently, be it odd or even. You can see they're going to give you an amazing finish. Camille, yes, I'm having one of those days. Mind you, you've all been with me long enough now. I think I'm having one of those years. You can see it gives you a really lovely finish. Now we have the most amazing crystal button on the inside, which is where you are getting that high shine and those gorgeous cuts. I do tend to say I'm having one of those days every day. Sorry. Pearls around the outside, crystals, and a larger pearl base. Angela says, don't you just love technology? But not as hard once you've plugged it in. So true. And we've got the gorgeous pearl band on the back as well. Now, I might keep on referring to the pattern. This is Kitty's pattern, so I'm going to keep myself right. Now, I am using a different coloured thread because I'm hoping it's going to make it visible for you. In the sets, you're going to get all of your thread included. I'm using a size 10 beading needle. We are going through size 15 seed beads, so they are the teeny tiny ones. So because we have to pass through them multiple times, it's better to have a thinner thread as well, so your A's rather than your D's, because you're going to have those multiple passes, and you might find that thinner needles will come in handy as well, but a 10 should be okay. We shall soon find out. And then we're going to start off, I'm going to keep my thread actually on the spool, and we're going to start off by picking the size 8 pearls. So I've got size 8 pearls, size 3mm pearls, and the crystals, what size are the crystals? 4mm, and size 15 seed beads. So I'm going to pick up all 8 of my large pearls first of all, straight onto my needle, and because we're going to go around this ring multiple times, multiple passes, what we want to make sure is that we don't have a big knot in the way. So whereas on some projects you could probably bring these together and knot them, it's gonna make it a little bit messy, and that knot will obviously get in the way of our work. So what we'll do is pass our needle through the pearls in the same direction. So I'm going to be creating a lovely loop. I tend to suspend them in between my fingers like this, and I'll do multiple pearls at once, but if it's more comfortable for you at home, you can just do that one by one. Now, because when I pull this circle together, I'm going to move away from my tail thread. So I've gone through some of them now twice. I'm actually going to go through 4 of them a third time as well. And what that will do, and you just need to take care not to pierce your thread, what that will do, and I'm hoping by using a lighter coloured thread as well, A, it's the only one thin enough that I could find, and B, I'm hoping visually you'll be able to see my thread path a little easier as well. Good morning, everybody. Sarah makes us seem normal, says Jax. Is it you that's normal or me? No one knows. So I've got my tail on one side and my thread on the other. I write the kit names on my bags with marker pens. Is that an answer to someone, or is that just a nice top tip for today? Oh, Diane's saying, I buy the same beads and I don't remember what kit they're from. So Mina's giving you a top tip. I've got all of my kits in bags with marker pens on as well, normally just because they get sent to me from the office. Okay, so we've got this lovely circle. I'm going to take that tail around my finger. I've still got it attached to the spool, so we do still have a bit of thread to tie off. I find that with things like this, it's easier to keep them a little larger, because then if anything goes wrong, if you need extra thread, it doesn't matter. You don't really want to be combining new threads in here because, again, like I said, size 15 beads, we're using small beads, multiple passes. We don't really want any thread attachments in there either. And then we're going to start creating these gorgeous little clusters around the outside. So I'm going to pick up a size 15 seed bead, and I'm just checking my pattern to make sure I've got this right. A seed bead, a crystal, and then a pearl, isn't it? A glass pearl, a crystal, and a seed bead. Right, now I'm good. And then what we're going to do is loop back. So you can see here, I'm exiting from the top of this pearl. I'm going to loop around and go back through the bottom of it. And I can see I've got a little bit of the coating on there, but we should get through. Back through the bottom of the same pearl I'm exiting, but then I'm also going to go through the next pearl as well. So I'm going to start traveling around the base circle. And when I pull this tightly, this lovely little new cluster that we've added on, so you can see I've got my size 15, my 4mm crystal, 3mm pearl, crystal, and a seed bead. And now I've also moved through a pearl ready for the next one. So I'm going to attach only half of this pattern because I'm going to borrow some of the beads from the previous loop. So we'll repeat half of it. I'm going to go seed bead, crystal, and pearl, and we will stop there. And then I'm going to loop back on myself just like we did with the previous pearl, but I'm going to borrow the crystal and the seed bead from the loop that we have just added on. And again, to position myself, so I'm going to loop this one around the pearl we're exiting from, and I'm going to travel through the next one as well. Okay, hopefully that's all nice and clear for you to see. And when I pull this one tightly, we will have our next little cluster. It's beautifully looped around the pearls, but it's also attached to the previous. And when I pull these tightly in a moment, what these will do are sit proud and at the top of the base pearls. So this will start to give us that lovely dome that you can see in our rings. Morning, what size are the glass pearls? Thank you, the glass pearls. So the base is an 8mm and the ones I'm using around the outside are a 3. So now it's just a pattern repeat. We're going to go seed bead, crystal and a pearl. Again, I'm going to borrow from the previous. So we'll go crystal and seed bead through the pearl I'm exiting and then positioning myself ready for the next one. So going through 2. And again, I'm comfortable and I can move through multiple beads at once, but if you can't, then it's fine. Just take it bead at a time. Pull it through, just make sure you don't get in a mess with the knots. Do excuse the fact that I'm using a different coloured thread. You will get the right coloured thread in your set. It's just I've kind of got like half demo kits here. I don't quite have the right thread, but I'm hoping also it's going to give you a nice visual and you can see that that difference. So again, borrowing from the loop before and traveling around ready to position. So the nice thing is with things like this, so my needle has got a little bit stuck. What I'm going to do is just take my flat nose pliers. I've tried to give it a little wiggle with my finger. Taking my flat nose pliers, I can then just hold that needle. I'll use my flat, not my round, because I don't want to dent my needle. It just gives me that little bit more grip and a little bit more strength in my hands. As you know, I do suffer with those a little bit. And I know so many of you have said to me that you guys do too. Just use your tools as an extension to your fingers if you don't have the grip. Now, because I've got a little crossover here and my tail is here, I'm actually only going to go through one pearl at a time, just to make sure that I'm not piercing any of those threads. So just like I said, make it easy for yourself. If you don't want to travel lots at a time, you don't have to. You're in charge when you get these home. And then as you can see, as I'm tightening up and moving around, it is already beginning to sit proud of that base. And it's already giving me the shape. I think with rings like these and with patterns like these, they give you such an intricate finish. It's a little bit hard sometimes to look at them and think, oh, I can see the exact thread path, I can see the exact pattern. With something like this, the way the shape comes together is amazing and actually surprisingly easy. Sarah, could you show the difference between the silver and the silver cloud? Yes, I can. Let me just finish this one so I don't lose my place, and then I will grab them for you. So I'm using Blue Sky at the moment. I'm pretty sure, let me see actually, so that I don't lose my place. Let me just go onto the Totally Beads website and let's have a little look, because I don't want to tell you the wrong ones. This is also the bracelet that you can make. So these little sections that we're creating, if you didn't put it onto a ring base, you can actually see you can connect them together and make these beautiful bracelets. Silver Cloud is more of how can I describe Silver Cloud? I think this one is the Silver Cloud. Is it? Is that the same as this one? Yeah. Kitty, if you are watching, this one is the silver. So you've got like the darker grey pearls, and I'm pretty sure Silver Cloud is this one here, which is a little bit more of an off-white pearl. It's more like a mink kind of colour. I believe that is the right one, because it's got these gorgeous almost beige crystals in. Just looking at the website, and these are the only colours that I've got here, so I am assuming that that's right, because it's got the Aurora Borealis inside. Yeah, so this one is your silver, that's the Silver Cloud. So on screen it looks it looks quite pearlized. It looks like an ivory pearl, but actually in real life it is like a very soft grey, a muted grey. Ah, here we go. There is the difference between a pearl and the silver cloud. Yes, that's it, she says. Good. I've got Kitty approval. So this is your silver cloud. And you can see there the difference between the two. When you just see it on its own, it just looks pearl. But you can see there the difference. So there's your two. Silver here, silver cloud here. There we go. I'm using sky blue. You also have... Might as well show you them all in the flesh while I'm here. Thank you for reminding me, because although I showed you them on screen, it can look so different. This one here is your bronze, and this one is your auburn. So there we go. There's all your colours. Right then, where are we? Pulling these through. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a shorter tail now that we are working our way through, and we're on our last section. So I've done 7 of them so far, and you can see they're just about sitting proud of the size 8 pearls that we have at the bottom. And now, because I want to link together these two, so if I pull it down flat, you can see I've got my cluster around this pearl, cluster around this pearl. I'm going to do my loop here, but I'm only going to have to add 1 bead in here. So I'm also going to travel through an extra pearl, and that's just on my base. Let's give this a nice little tight. I'm going to come up through a seed bead and a crystal. So that's the very first beads that I added on this round. Now I'm going to pick up 1 pearl because I've already used the beads on the side. I'm adding on my top bead, and I'm going to borrow the beads from the other side, so that I'm now completing that circle, bringing them through. And when I pull this nice and tightly, I'm just going to give everything a little bit of a wiggle jiggle so that it gets a little bit tighter. Now, if I turn it to its side, you can see how proud they sit. They just beautifully dome up on top. And I can pull all of this through. Now, don't worry about the fact that it's a little bit looser up here, because we will come up to that and correct it, and we'll fill in all of those little gaps. So to tighten this up, I'm just going to move away a few beads. If your tension is a little loose, just always keep on travelling, just to move away from the final little loop, the final little steps and turns, because that will always give you just that little bit more rigidity. Like so. Right, let me go back to my little screen so that I can make sure I'm doing the right thing. Now we're going to add on our beautiful buttons. The buttons in the very centre of these. Hi Sarah, I just got my kit for the flat spiral bracelet, but no instructions for it. If you just give the office a ring, give the warehouse a ring, or send them a little email, and they will be able to email that over to you, I'm sure. Kitty, did you demo the elastic base before? I've done the thread versions, but it looks as if the elastic version starts with the band and then add the top. Is that right? I will let... Oh, sorry, it's Molly here. Molly's telling me I was the right ones. I will ask Kitty to have a little check. I'm not sure she is here, even though I've said hello to her. I will ask Kitty to get back to you, Dorothy, about the elastic band, because I don't know, I haven't done the elastic one myself either. Now then, we're going to add in our beautiful buttons. The buttons are going to give us the most amazing faceted tops. And when we turn it around, you can see it's got like a chaton base. So it comes down into that point, and it's a button. So it is a shank button. So we've got 2 holes running through the bottom, and this means that we can attach it onto our ring really beautifully. And also when you then wear the ring, it means, because it's not a round bead, it's going to sit perfectly. I made the sections into a necklace, says Jean, when it was shown last time, and I'm really pleased with it. They look amazing, don't they? So these little clusters, the little motif shapes that we are making, you can turn them... Oh, this one's broken. Oh. You can turn them into bracelets. I'll get Kitty to fix that when I send everything back. Problem is, when you're wearing them, at least you don't have to post them. Ours get photographed so often. They get worn. They get sent from pillar to post. bless them. So they have a big old bit of stress on them. Now, to finish off and add these buttons, I'm going to turn my ring over and we're going to add on one seed bead, one of our pearls, and I'm going to go through the base of my button, one pearl and a seed bead. And then we're going to cross over. So as you know, I've got 8 beads on the base. And this button, turning it the right way, is just going to sit beautifully crossing over between the 4s. Lorna, question, if you used smaller beads, could you do a smaller version? I'm not a fan of big rings. My hands are too big already. Oh, bless you. Do you know that actually by wearing bigger jewellery, it makes you look smaller? So it's the same if you feel like you are a bit big up top. Sometimes using smaller things actually makes you look bigger. So, I mean, I do have small fingers, but actually, if you wear bigger jewellery, so I always, anyone who's a little bit bigger on top, if you wear chunkier necklaces, it just balances off. So give it a try, Lorna. You might surprise yourself. But yes, you could use smaller beads, but the bead counts would be slightly different. You could follow the technique and the pattern, but the actual count of the beads would be a little bit different. So you would just need to have a little experiment and a play. Now, for the bead down at the base, I'm actually coming out of the left-hand side on this one. So I'm going to cross it over, and you basically want to make sure, because I'm going to come back down and pass through, because this bead here is only attached over onto the right-hand side. So I will pass down in a moment and correct it through and just come through a second time. So let's go through this one first. No, this one first, sorry. Is that the direct opposite? Yeah. Pull this tail out of the way. And I'm going to come all the way back round. So I'm going to travel through all of my pearls. And the nice thing is when we're doing all of these kind of movements round, going back on ourselves, each time you're just strengthening this base. You're giving it an extra little reinforcement. And because on this side, my loop, my thread, attaching thread is coming over this side, I'm going to come onto this side. And what that will do is I'm going to go through my buttons, my pearls, and all of the seed beads that we've added. Just missing out that pearl. Through you go. And through the seed bead. Pull it nice and tightly. And again, because when I was up here, I travelled around to the left. Now I'm going to travel round to the right. And I'm going to go through one pearl. And we'll pull that all really nice and tight. And what that will do, when I turn it around, it's like the grand reveal. It gives us the most amazing... Oh, who's being naughty? Jack's going to have to go on the naughty step. I think I've missed a few comments. It's that grand reveal. You can now have that lovely button on the inside. And again, we will tighten up and strengthen up the top in a minute, but there's just a few other little finishing bits and pieces that we need to do first of all. What size needle are you using? I'm using a size 10, Caroline. Because I'm going through size 15s multiple times, a 10 is good. If you get stuck with it and you struggle and you're having to pull it through a lot with your pliers, like you saw me do a moment ago, and then you can go down to a 12. But a 10 is actually just a little bit more rigid. So where I'm kind of having to hook through a few beads, a 10 is always a good one. That's always my go-to, really. Okay, so now that we have stuck these on, your little button is in place. We're going to go around and we're going to fill the outside with some lovely 15s. So because I've used the pink thread, you'll be able to see it. Can you see all the way around that base, I've got a visible pink thread. And it's little silly things like that that just don't quite make something look so professional. So what we'll do is hide it. So I'm going to take a size 15 and I'm going to go through the pearl. And now Obviously, I have used a pink thread, so you can still see a tiny bit of it. But in your kits, you will get a matching thread, but then all of that will then be completely hidden. So again, just a little bit unsightly. So we'll fill the gaps. And it's things like these, it's little finishing tips and tricks like these that you learn when you get kits from a jewellery designer like Kitty, because all of these little steps are thought for you. They are included obviously in top tips, in a design, and it takes a long time for us to come up with little designs like these. There's so many, if you think of kind of practicing with bead counts and getting things to sit properly and thread paths, there's so much detail and intricacy that goes into things. As you do this final step, you can actually feel it all become nice and strong in your hand. It changes the way it feels. It goes from a little bit loose, a little bit floppy, to stronger, sturdier. It feels finished. Oh, you're all now talking about your needles. Yes. Okay, super. So I'm just going to finish this step all the way round. And as you can see, it comes together reasonably quickly. It's not a difficult or intricate make. There's just pattern repeats, and once you've mastered one step, you're all good. Now I'm going to move up to the top. Now this one is getting a little bit tighter. I haven't got too much space coming through this pearl, so it's just that little bit tighter. I'm going to use my pliers just to pull that through, and you can start to feel that you're getting to those finishing steps. And we're going to move up to the top. We're going to straighten this one up. So I'm going to come up through my seed bead and my crystal that were from those beginning sections. Now you want to be careful. I don't think I've got a size 12 needle to hand, but where your needle gets stuck and where I'm pulling that through, occasionally when you pull it through so tightly, if it's because it is stuck on a size 15 bead, that size 15 seed bead can shatter and that can crush. And then of course you're missing out a bead in your steps. So just take care with it. Now what I'm going to do is pick up a size 15 bead, and I'm going to go in between all of these pearls, and that's going to connect together, because you can see obviously these pearls aren't connected. It's going to loop all of these together and close up the top of the ring. So again, you'll feel it all of a sudden become that little bit more strong and secure. And again, it's just those finishing touches. So can you see just along here, filling in those little gaps with the seed beads, and it will correct any of your looser tension, because we're just creating that lovely little loop. So if you were, if your beads were a little bit saggy, this is where we perfect and finish it. And then all that is left to do is the lovely band. So obviously if you were making these little sections for your bracelet, what we've been doing, half an hour, but obviously I talk for about 15 of that. So all these little sections, you could just sit of an evening, stick a little episode on, or I don't need an extra 15 there, so I'm going to come through this 15 because this was my starting point. And so because I've gone through, I'm actually going to just travel through a couple of them just to move away, and then I can pull that nice and tightly. And now you can see that the button, oh, is someone asking what we're doing? Are they late? If you missed the beginning, we're doing the Regal Rings, which are these gorgeous cocktail rings. I'm just about to make the base. So we've made this lovely top, but obviously once it's on the page, you can go back and have a little look. The one that Kitty did a little while ago and Sarah wanted to try it. Yeah, we know that so many of you have joined us. We haven't actually done this since the beginning of July. And I can't believe we're now kind of mid-October. So sometimes it's really nice to allow some of the newer people to see what we've been doing as well. Bringing them around, and then I'm going to come down to the base. And because I know it's going to be a little bit tighter, I'm just using those pliers to pull it through. Okay, so now everything feels really nice and sturdy. I've got that beautiful button on the inside. Oh, Sue says, sorry I'm late, took advantage of the sunshine for an early beach walk. We'll try and watch the beginning later. Well, that just sounds beautiful. Very jealous. So you've got these lovely buttons, if you like, that are encased in your pearls and crystals. So if you wanted to do the bracelet, you can go for the PDF download, which is $1.99. That is going to show you how to create bracelets and necklaces with them as well. So each one of these little clusters are what we have just made, and then you can just string them along up at the top. There's also a way to make it curve with your bead count so that you can create a lovely necklace as well. And they look really special. If you're thinking of dressing up for Christmas, doubt we're going anywhere, but if you fancy getting dressed up with a few members of your family, feeling a little bit special, then I'm sure that will be really gorgeous. Now, just the band to go. This, of course, is where you can actually personalize it because it's going to be for your size. Stretch elastic is going to be great if you are going to gift them, because that's going to make it one size fits all. The pearl band doesn't have any give in it, neither does the peyote, but your full PDF download will have all of that in. So that is going to have to be for your exact width, the exact size of your finger. Okay, so I'm going to start off each one of your sides of your band. If I turn this over, you're going to have 3 pearls at the beginning and at the end, and then we're going to make the one through to the center. So our 3 obviously are essential anyway, and then I'm going to add on a few. Let me get a few more off of my strand. You can always measure your finger first of all. I'm going to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15. I can't see me needing much more than about 18, so we'll have a little look, give it a try, and then you can size it up to your finger and see how it fits. We were all talking about like our wrist sizes the other week, and whether you wear a larger ring or a smaller ring, a larger bracelet, smaller bracelet, we all have the same issues, and that it's really hard to find the right sizes. So of course the base will be at the front of your finger. Bring that around. Yep, these are going to do me perfectly. So I wear, I think it's a size N ring on my ring finger. N or P, can't remember which. So 3, 6, 9. I've got my 18 on here, and I think that is going to do me well. So I'm just going to hold the beads so that they don't move, because you don't want any space. The actual cluster will sit in the middle, or it might be a little bit tight. 19, 20. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. I don't mind it being bigger because it's going to hold in place. Because it's got the dome on top, I mean, even this one is a little bit big, but I could definitely still wear it because it's not going to rotate round. So long as it's not going to fall off your hand, which this one won't, it's going to get stuck on my knuckles, then they're not going to rotate round anyway. So that will do. So I think I've gone for about 21-ish now. And then I am exiting from... Oh, do you know what? I didn't even go through the pearl. Darn it. Yeah. Do I unthread them all? Oh, blow it. Yeah, because otherwise we're not going to be right. Okay, so I got a little bit too ahead of myself. And I was only exiting from the size 15 seed bead. And I want to be exiting from a pearl. So I've just taken those off. Hey, at least now we know what size it's going to be. I want to make sure I'm exiting from a pearl. So I'm going to come out through one of my base pearls. I'm going to go the other way because that pearl is a little bit tight now. And what you might notice sometimes is that because the pearls have a coating, more often than not, your needle will go through absolutely fine. It's just that some of the coating gets in the way. Okay, now I'm exiting from the pearl. We can add these on. Rapid fire. Pick these up and we'll create our band. And then just like we did when we attached on our button, Oh, sorry, I'm just off screen for you, but you don't need to see me pick up pearls. Just like we did when we attached the button, we want to make sure that the band is centralised. So we will go through it twice. You can even go through it a third or fourth time, as many times as the actual space in the beads will allow and the size of your needle, because it's going to be the bit that has the most stress. So we can reinforce it as many times as need be, because of course it's going to go on and off your hand all the time. Okay, so I'm exiting from the front. I'm going to cross over and around, and I'm going to come through the same pearl on the opposite side. Now, another point that I'm sure Kitty will show you is that really you should be going in the same direction as the shank of the button as well. But hey ho, we don't need to unthread and go again. Lynn says she's just tuned in, and these are these kits, please. They're beautiful. Yes, Lynn. So the description of the video has a link through to our website, and we've got all of these colours. So you can have them in, what do we call it? Silver Cloud. So this is Silver Cloud. This is silver. I'm using sky blue. Your kits will make 8 of your rings, but you can turn them into necklaces and bracelets as well, and I'll pick one of them up and show you at the end. Okay, so now I'm exiting from the pearl. Oh man alive, I need to go through 2 pearls. Now that I'm exiting from a pearl, we're going to add on, just remember I said about those 3 little beads at the beginning. They are going to give us a little start to our band, and that is also going to give it a little bit more strength. You're distributing the weight on there and the stress on the beads. You want to move 2 pearls away. So where I am attached with my band already, I've moved 2 beads away, because now I'm going to bring in and close that off. No one will know, Camille says, don't tell. I know. Pretty glad Kitty's not watching today. It's so hard when you're given somebody else's design to make as well. It's tricky. You want to do them justice. So I've picked up 3 of my beads, and I'll only go through 2 to begin with here. I've picked up another 3 beads, and as you can see, that's now going to bring together my band beautifully. So now I can run all the way through this band, and this will tighten it up as we go as well. Again, just take care not to pierce the thread. And I'm going to go all the way through to the end. We'll tighten that up whilst we're here. Up to my final 3, because of course then we can extend out that little Y shape on this side as well. So all the way through the band. And I've got my 3 beads to add on. I'm only 1 shy. And the great thing is I think you get 2 strands of your pearl beads, your size 3mm pearls in your kit. So you'll be able to make several of these. Your peyote is done with your size 15 seed bead. So I think you'll have enough seed beads left over to maybe do 2 of your 8 rings with the peyote, and the rest you can do with your pearls. And then just make sure that you are going to marry up the right size, the right side with your pearl band. So obviously you want to make sure that you're going through, you're moving through 2, and we'll attach that on. Which way am I going? This way or this way? This way. And just remember, I'm going to have, I'm going to have a bent needle. Oh no, Kitty's here. Morning everyone. Sorry, super late, was driving into work and had to stop at the shops, and then I got distracted by pretty things. I'm assuming in the warehouse, not the shops. Where were the pretty things? I made a couple of boo-boos, Kitty. I'll fess up now before anyone grasses me up. I went through a wrong bead and added the band on before I'd gone through a pearl and all sorts. But we are good now. I've corrected all my issues. Okay, so I'm just going to bring through this band, and what that will then do is give me that lovely little Y shape, like so. and we've got our gorgeous ring. Now, when it comes to finishing them off for attaching them, oh, it is a little bit too big. I added on a couple of extras. When it comes to finishing off your threads, half hitch knots are the best thing to do. And we're going to tie these off. Now, your PDF patterns will have all of that in there for you. I'll show you one of them. With your band, go through it several more times. You want to go over those a few more times just to reinforce them. But with your half hitch knots, what you're going to do is take your needle underneath a thread path. So no beads, just a needle. Oh, Margaret, do I believe you? I'm sure you would. I'm sure you wouldn't. I'm sure you'll be on my side. So half hitch knot, you're not going through any of your beads. You are only coming underneath a thread path. And we're going to pull this through until it leaves me a little loop. And then I'm going to take my needle through and pull it nice and tight. And then that has given me a half hitch knot. Invisible, and then you can carry on moving through your beads to give you a lovely finish. So obviously I do have the pink thread, but you can see here you've got that beautiful ring that you can then wear for lots of different occasions. It's going to give you an absolutely gorgeous finish. So that is the sky blue that we're using. Lots of leftover beads, lots of your leftover buttons. The set will make 8. Of course, we have the gorgeous silver cloud, which is a little bit of a mink sort of finish. It's like a very soft grey. I know it looks very pearl on here, but if I put it next to a pearl one, you can actually see the difference. It's a really lovely colour. Then, of course, you have your silver as well. You could just get them all and wear them like I am here. And then you've got your bronze and your auburn, I think it is, if I remember rightly. And of course your kit and your instructions. Look at the Aurora Borealis in there, beautiful. Your kit and instructions will show you how to do your peyote, your beaded band, and also your stretch elastic as well. And Lynn, I know you were a little bit later and wanted to know if they were kits. These are the bracelets that you can then make as well. Oh, Mina says I made one with the shank the wrong way round. Okay, so luckily I remembered to do that today. Could you make a supersize band to make a matching bracelet? Yeah, of course you could. That's a great idea, Lorna. And this is one of the beautiful bracelets as well. So keeping all of those lovely sections. Of course, you wouldn't get 8 out of it. You are going to use it all into your bracelet. But by buying multiple kits, you could then have your rings as your gifts and maybe your necklaces and your bracelets to keep yourself. Okay, so that is about it. If any of you have any extra questions, I think it was it Dorothy or Doris? Somebody wanted to ask Kitty a question. It was about the stretch elastic, wasn't it? Kitty, if you're still watching, if you could just go through the comments. Someone was asking, and I can't remember if it was Dorothy or Doris, sorry, about making the stretch elastic band. If you could just get back to them, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Okay, so tomorrow is Wednesday, midweek again. Time just flies. So you will have the lovely Sarah Payne, our new resident beader, known for all her quilting and her sewing, but she's been a beader for years and we've managed to nab her for some lovely designs. So Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock is Sarah Payne. Obviously, Kitty will be on air tomorrow. So Kitty will be at the Create and Craft Studios for her 9 o'clock TV show. So Create and Craft TV. Dorothy, it was you. Thank you, Dorothy. Sorry. Kitty, if you could have a look for Dorothy's question, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Kitty will be on air at 9 o'clock for a jewellery making hour back on TV, and then I will see you. I don't think I'm with you now until Saturday, but enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much for your company today. Really hope you enjoy the Regal Ring kit. The link is in the description to the video as well. Thank you, Kitty, for a lovely design and for letting me turn my hand to it. Not sure I quite did it as much justice, but hey ho. I will see you all on Saturday. Take care, everyone. Lots of love and stay safe. See you soon. Bye.